I'm going to have a go at the Guardian's Cryptic Crossword for Tuesday, November 28th, set by Paul. I learned from yesterday I need to make a note of who the setter is. One across, sweet, say, particularly covered in fluff. The say makes me think of a homophone, and then I'm thinking sweet might actually be S-U-I-T-E. And then is it a word for particularly with fluff around it, or a word for fluff? Or is it, oh, maybe it's a homophone of sweet followed by particularly, and then it means, I don't know, a word that would mean covered in fluff. Let me look at one down. World War One, well, WW1, of course, we can't assume it's World War One. They might be fooling us. Gun in comfortable position, secured by a wedge from below, 3-6. I immediately think of, excuse me, Big Bertha as a famous gun. Now, I think it was World War One, but it might be World War Two. But how would the wordplay work here? Comfortable position, oh, I think is a berth. Comfortable position secured by a GIB. Is a jib, a wedge reading from below? I'm going to assume it is. Not 100% sure of this one, but let's move on and see if it fits the other letters. It doesn't really help me with one across. Particular sweet, covered in fluff. What's another word for fluff? Oh, there is a slang bump, maybe? Not sure. And maybe sweet say just means an example of a dessert. I'm trying to think of one, a long one, like, well, blancmange is only 10 letters. All right, let's try Winter Olympian's weapon. Well, Winter Olympian, of course, a winter sport, the luge. And then if you add an R, oh yeah, so I suppose somebody who rides a luge is a luger, and a luger is it's a make of gun, right? And the manufacturer. 7 down, we have to look at 24 down. Puncture in fizzy drink can, sprayed around, holiday location. Wow. 5, 6. So the 6 has L as the second letter. I'm presuming we're going to spray around the letters of can, but do we spray it around a holiday location? What would a puncture in puncture? Yeah, I think holiday location has to be the definition, but I'm not thinking of anything. All right, let's try 11 across. Poorly, eyelid on the blink after end of operation. Well, I'm thinking it's an anagram, that it means poorly. The letters of eyelid on the blink, is that a valid anagram indicator. I know behind these videos I'm often questioning the rectitude of what the setter has done. I'm sure that's largely ignorance on my part, not being familiar with the conventions of modern cryptic crosswords. But I'm thinking it's eyelid with the last letter of operation, and poorly indicates it might be an adverb ending in ly, which we do have. So then let's try the anagram helper. Ah, right there, needily. Needily, is that poor? Again, I'm questioning the setter, but needily, is that a synonym of poorly? I suppose if you're poor, you're needy, and then poorly, needily. Is that how that works? It seems a bit of a stretch to me. So now our possible holiday location is 5 and then something else, something n. Just thinking a planet, but no, but 3 down ends in a y, so that should be essay would, oh yeah, so essay is composition. We have the first 2 letters of engaging swats, and then, for example, is say. So we're starting to get some letters in our 1 across, and 10 across we have the S starter, folk hero, made chips with silicon, say. I think silicon is Si as its chemical symbol. Oh, I'm thinking of Siegfried from, I think, isn't he in one of Wagner's operas? And I presume that's based on folk tales. Because I'm thinking Si and say here is EG, and then made chips might be fried. Again, I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm going to leave it in for now. This, pardon my tummy is rumbling. I must be hungry, so I'm going to probably stop for lunch soon. Distant workplace discussed by drunkard. So I'm thinking this is a homophone, but with the addition of slurring the words, and I think in particular an S becomes an SH sound. So workplace would be office, and then the drunkard would say offish. And is that a word? I think that is a sort of slang or a vernacular term for distant in England anyway. I don't think you'll hear it in the rest of the world. Maybe wrong. Here's another 2-parter. We seem to have a few of these. What might secure the Bucks ship bound for Madeira 7-4 in the question mark? For Bucks, I'm thinking maybe something to do with deer. So is it something deer? But then what's the ship bound for Madeira? But then again, the question mark suggests this is a bit of a stretch. Ship bound for Minot, not getting that. 4 down, birds gripped, stuffing is awful. Wow. I'm presume it's going to be birds as the definition. Oh, it could also be awful. So yeah, it could be a word for birds around a word for stuffing, and the whole thing means awful. But then it could also be the other way around, that maybe a word for gripped, stuffing, or going inside of is awful, or awful can be an anagram indicator. Oh, yeah. Not easy. Oh, I missed two down. Third rock's troubles, irreversible, first of all, very sad about that. Well, third rock, that's Earth, right? So, but irreversible, troubles, irreversible, first of all. And then very sad. I presume a word for very sad, like morose, goes around it. Oh yeah, the first of all, I think, is the first letters of at least irreversible, or maybe, no, I don't think it's going to be VSAT, but I think it might be TI. So if it was TI, troubles irreversible, and then very sad, and the whole thing is something to do with Earth, I'm presuming third rock. Well, maybe it's the third letter of rock, the C. But then, yeah, where's the definition? Because morose would give you mortios. I don't know that word. What's another word for very sad? No, I'm going to leave that one. So 13, we have to get 12, 15 first. But a fallout, it has fallout. Slough crossed by rower. If old wizard on bridge playing role. Playing role might be something acting. If old wizard, who's the old wizard? Merlin, Gandalf. Okay, here's one that's all in one answer. Old pianist with cry of pain, leaving Jack Sprat's wife. So Jack Sprat could eat no fat. His wife could eat no lean. Cry of pain, leaving Jack. Oh, my goodness. I presume it's going to have something like ow, O-W, or eek, or something in there. Old suggests it starts with O, and then pianist is going to be a specific pianist. Okay, unclosed box is in front of class. Unclosed. Wow. I'm thinking it's could it be teacher? Would be is in front of class, although that seems a little too obvious. And then how do we get unclosed box? We did have teach us the other day as a box. So teach, and then, but we would have to, oh yes, is in front of. Yeah, so I think actually it might be. So yeah, it's the tea chest from the other day minus the tea. And if you're in front of a class, if you are currently in, then one teaches. Alrighty, let's look at 18 down. Issues certainly not arising when expected. 2-4. Well, issue can be child or son. And then certainly not. And then when expected might be as told, as are in time. Yeah, when expected does suggest maybe time. Let me put it in and see how it might work. Issue, I think is emit. Certainly not arising. So it's arising, but where's the certainly not is no, so it's on time, not in time. There we go. I think that's right. Now our slough crossed by rower, if old wizard on bridge, playing role. So what word fits 18 across? Oral, oval, opal fruits made to make your mouth water. Let's try 25 across. We have the M. Comic, backing of scary woman by Parliament. 3-6. Well, comic can be an English comic, Beano, dandy. Could it be mad? Is Mad a comic or is it a magazine? And then backing of scary woman by Parliament. Parliament can be HP or house. Comic. There was an English comic, wasn't there, called Max Miller? I mean, he's long gone. Would he still be showing up in a crossword? It would put an X there, which seems very unlikely. Let's try 23 down. God, where did it jump? There we go. God, a hand perhaps skyward. God. So it might be a Greek or Roman god with the letter A, and then a word for hand reaching up. Should be able to think of a god beginning with A, Apollo. Now I'm blanking. Agamemnon, was he a god or a mortal? Ooh, this one, I always like the ones with short words. They're usually easier to work out. Macerate a substance picked after first of apples most of the time. So I think it might mean most of the time. Macerate a substance. Chew on it. But picked after first of apples would be the A. And then maybe it's just most of the word time. Macerate. Sink your teeth into. I think I'm going to need some letters for that one. To celebrate elasticity in latex. Exalt, I think it's just you make the word latex elastic by rearranging the letters. That seems right. 20 down. Wonder when two, all but its first and second, failing. All but its first and second. So do I have two yet? No. But I'm thinking you take out the first two letters of two down, which is 8 letters. That leaves you with 6. And then failing, I think, is we're going to anagram them and get something for wonder. No. Turning to blusher initially. Ladies preening without foundation. 4, 5. It could mean without foundation. Freestanding, or I'm turning to blusher initially is the B. Ladies preening. No, I'm thinking maybe that's an anagram. The sad sculpture beneath which I must go. Wow. Well, sculpture has 9 letters. And if it's sad, does that mean you anagram it and then you get something beneath which I must go? Let's just try and see if there is a good anagram of sculpture. Oh, sepulcher, I'm thinking. No, we have the S in the middle. We have a lot of U's. What would the ending be? No, not getting it. I'll give up for now. All right, what ones have I not looked at? Leader, briefly, annexing capital of large country. So leader briefly could be L, or maybe it's PM, and it goes around capital. Is it a capital or a word for capital as in money? To make a, oh, then of course maybe large is just an L that we add on. I'm thinking it is going to be a 5-letter country. There can't be too many with an I in second place. Chile comes to mind. Oh, and Che, would he be? I think they would normally say, they would say revolutionary, briefly annexing capital. That would actually read better, I think. But maybe it is. So Che goes around IL. So capital, is I considered capital in some way? What would that do for 1 across? Sweet, say, particularly covered in fluff. No, nothing is coming to me. Let's see, love of 10. Oh, I do have 10. Pirouetted, often with some leaping. So Siegfried and, who does he love in folklore or the opera? Siegfried and Roy? No, Siegfried and something with some leaping. Um, I think I'm going to pause and I will resort to outside materials and see who Siegfried loved. Well, Siegfried's love seems to be Brunhilde, not Broomhilde from the old comic, but Brunhilde, which of course is far too long for 6 letters, pirouetted often. No, so I'm going to have to move on from that. Glower about a cut that's turned up in card game. So I think it's going to be an 8-letter card game with a word for glower about a cut, which could be TUCA in the middle, or just another word for cut, a tear maybe. But that's turned up in a card game. What's an 8-letter card game ending E something something? Do not know. And then everything else I think I have looked at. Oh no, I haven't looked at 24. How might one force entry? Murder getting a drink here. How might one force entry? A crowbar. There we go. Yes. So a little double definition with some puns. A murder of crows, and they get a drink at a bar, and that's how you force entry. So that should be helpful. So yeah, now our puncture, the first word starts with C. In fizzy drink, can sprayed round, holiday location. A holiday location. Costa Blanca? Isn't that a place where British people often went on holiday? Costa Blanca. Let's see how the wordplay works. Puncture in fizzy drink. Well, there's the can, I think at the end, the can sprayed around. And then we're left with Costa BLA. Puncture in fizzy drink. Oh, puncture is stab, and that is in COLA. Cola. La 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 Lola. So that, yeah, there we go. That is going to help, I think. Of course, we need to finish 12:15 first, but fallout from, I'm thinking something like after shock, which then suggests maybe this is some kind of earthquake. Or could it be after maths? Maybe it's something to do with mathematics. What might secure the Bucks? Ship bound. Again, securing and bound makes me think there's some kind of tying going on, but I'm not seeing it. 16 down, now we have B something A, which could be the blusher initially. Ladies preening without foundation. Something blank. No. Wonder when two, all but its first and second failing. No, again, I think we need to get two first. No, I hate to have this interaction, but what you gonna do? 25 across now ends with an S, so at least we know it's not Max Miller, if I even got that name right. Comic, backing of scary. Maybe the whole thing means a parliament, but I don't think so. Yeah, not getting that. 27, well, at least we know one of the two-letter words starts with an A. Could be, of course, several words, as, an, at, most of the time. No, not getting that. Okay, I think I'm going to pause here and get ready for lunch, and then I will resume. So obviously today's is a lot harder than yesterday's. All right, many hours have passed. I think I have 1 across and 27 across at the bottom. So I'll fill them in, and then I'm not going to spend more than, let's say, 30 minutes on this, and then I think I will give up. So 1 across, just looking at the letters and thinking of sweets, I thought of one of my old favorites, butterscotch. Unfortunately, I don't think Callard and Bowser butterscotch is still made. But anyway, I think to explain this, say is utter. The covered in fluff, I think, is to fluff something, is to mess it up, and so to botch. And that leaves Scott meaning particularly. I know you can get off scot-free, but I thought a scot was a fine of some kind. You had to pay a scot, but yeah, I'm not sure if I fully understand that, but let's leave it in for now. And then 27 across, I was just looking at the words, and then I thought, oh, most of the time, a phrase that could mean that is as often as not. And then I realized I had completely had the wrong meaning of macerate. I think I was mixing up with masticate. But to macerate, I think, is like tenderizing meat. And so that is soften. And then a substance picked is a snot. Isn't that delightful? And then all of that goes after the first of apples, so that's the first A. And so as often as not, most of the time. So certainly that 1 across. Now this third rock's troubles, irreversible, first of all. Very sad about that. That should be very, oh, let me get rid of that T. That's throwing me off. Well, it could still be terrible, but I'm just not sure I really understand it. We do have IBLE, and then we also have treble going around. But first of all, could also be an A. Yeah, I'm really no closer to solving that one. The bird's gripped now begins with S. So is it some type of bird? Is that the whole answer? Or a shorter bird that goes around stuffing and means awful? I don't know. All right, let's go down to 23 down. Oh, I did have a thought on this one. So God, a hand perhaps skyward. I thought of Atlas, and I think it's A, and then a salt, a sea salt, or not a sea salt, well, an old salt who is at sea, I think is a deckhand on a ship. And so that's why skyward. But then the question mark also indicates that Atlas is holding up the world, and therefore he might be said to have a hand skyward. I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch, but that's all I have. So now my comic, could it be Mel? I'm thinking Mel Smith. I think the late Mel Smith, alas, Smith and Jones, but that doesn't fit. Mal. No, it must be Mel, but can't think of a comic called Mel. Now 21 down looks interesting. Oh, see 18 across. Slough crossed by rower. If old wizard on bridge playing role. That's a very unusual. Well, actually, both words are pretty unusual. I do have a few I mentioned earlier. Opal, oval, Olaf. But slough, what is crossed by rower? Something to do with oars. If old wizard, could it be an anagram of something? No, still not getting that. So let's see, what other ones do I have letters for? So here's our 17 down. Glower, I am saying that right. I think that's a word I've never actually heard someone say. About a cut that's turned up. And this is the one I thought might be a card game. Ooh, what happened there? Suddenly it reloaded on me. Okay. Glower about a cut that's turned up in card game. So I think it would maybe end in EEN, EAN. Can't really think of any other. It could be, I suppose, EWN. No. Maybe I'll pause and look up card games with 8 letters. Yeah, that's I think what I'll do. I didn't find any suitable card games, but then I was looking for synonyms of glower. I did see frown, so could it begin with an F? Oops. FR. But I think then it would have to be OO something EWN. That doesn't seem right. And then the cut would be E something O. No, that doesn't seem very likely. Okay. How about the old pianist? Could it be the name of an old pianist? Obviously not Liberace, Glenn Gould, Horowitz. I don't know who's a famous old pianist. With Cry of Pain leaving, I don't think Jack Sprat's wife has a name in the nursery rhyme, does she? I thought it was just, we know about her dietary preferences, but not her name, I thought. Mel, Mill, Mall, Mull, and a backing of a scary woman. Would that be a harpy, a shrew, by Parliament? Scary woman. No, not. Or could it be a woman by Parliament? Is there a statue in London near the Houses of Parliament? Oh, 16 down. Well, and I didn't have the T before, so what is the second word? Something blast, turning to blusher initially, ladies preening without foundation. Without foundation. No. Beast, something beast. Oh. Very tricky. I was feeling so good about myself after yesterday's crossword, but it's back to square one, I'm afraid. Very sad about that. Yeah, I really think it's somehow Third Rock's troubles is the definition, some very cryptic, something like climate change or maybe some geological fissures or a fault of some kind, and it's a word for very sad that goes about irreversible, maybe, or first of that. Or T, it goes about TI, which is what I thought earlier. Very sad. Now let me pause and think about this. Oh, I did think of a third. I'd been thinking about treble earlier, but now I just realized when I put in the T, tertiary is third. Now I just have to work out. So I think it's rocks, troubles, irreversible is the RTI. And that's first of all. So the first of those of all three. And then teary. Okay. And that's good I have the R because I did think this was somehow after something. So fallout from 12:15. Oh, and I was thinking 1215 Madeira, isn't that a form of port? Or is it more sherry? But could it be something port? Ship bound? Might secure the bucks. Something stud. No. Yeah, unfortunately, tertiary doesn't give me anything else. Yeah, not thinking of anything here. My birds. I'm going to go through what letters could come between the S and the E, see if anything comes to mind. Well, I'm not coming up with much, but I realized I never went back to 20, which references number 2 that we now have as tertiary. And I do think that it's everything except its first and second letters, so that's the T and the E, which leaves us RTIARY, anagrammed to mean wonder. And the only word I can make out is rarity. I suppose a rarity is a wonder. Wonder to behold because it's rare. So that gives us an R at the end of our old pianist. With cry of pain, leaving Jack Sprat's wife. Oh, that's very tricky. And our slough. A slough is like a depression in the ground, isn't it? The slough of despondency, despond. Crossed by rower. Seems like they're trying to make us think of old mythology. And the old wizard on bridge playing role. Not getting that. No. All right, I think with the remaining time, I'm just going to give up and see what the answers are, and then maybe, excuse me, we'll learn something. So let's, why not start with 17 down? Reveal this. Napoleon. Oh, I think that is a very old card game. Wow. Okay. How does this work out? Glower. About a cut. Oh, I think lop is to lop something off, and then the A. And that leaves neon. Oh, a glower. Wow, that is very, very cryptic for a Tuesday. Glower, something that glows, I think just neon. And then I think that's quite an obscure card game. You know, I think they could have used Napoleon Bonaparte somehow, referenced him to make it a little bit easier. I mean, not giving us Bonaparte, but general or emperor or something. Wow. That A doesn't really help me with the pianist, so let's take a look at that. Fats Waller, it is an old pianist. So cry of pain, well, obviously the fat is to do with Jack Sprat's, she is a fat swallower, and then you have to drop the OW. Boy, oh boy, these are very taxing. Well done to anyone who got that. All right, does that help me with 16 down now? Full blast, maybe? But without foundation, I don't see how that would be it. So let's take a look. Oh, an idle boast. How do we get this? Turning to blusher initially. Ladies, so I think it's going to be an anagram of ladies. And so preening is maybe an anagram. Hold on, so we have our AS around the BO. And then a T at the end. Oh, so it's turning to, so the TO is turned around, and the blusher initially, and the ladies, and so preening has to be an anagram indicator here. That's very tricky. I probably should have come up with the phrase idle boast to fit the letters I had, but I still think that's a very tricky one. All right, so let's look at our 12. This is our Madeira, so it's not port. Ship bound for Madeira. I do think it might be something ties. Ship bound for Madeira. No, so let's reveal that. Dessert wine. Okay. Well, Madeira then is the dessert wine, so that's the definition. The ship, I think, is the SS. It is bound within deer, and then twine might secure. So what might secure? The bucks. What I don't like about this is I don't see how it indicates that the twine, which might secure, goes after the bucks with ship bound. Yeah, I think that's I think a little unfair to do it that way. Not that I would have got it if they had put it in a different order, but still. Boy, oh boy. All right, let's see, 8 down. This is the one where I thought it might be something to do with Siegfried, but I couldn't make anything out. Love of 10, pirouetted often. Oh, I think it might be a hidden clue. Odette, not that I know why that is, other than I can see it's often pirouetted within that reading backwards. Oh, or maybe actually with some leaping is maybe it's you have to skip some letters. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, so let's reveal this. Now it is Odette, so I think it has to be within it. And then I don't know what the with some leaping is. And who is Odette to Siegfried? I have no idea. All right, 4 down. Birds gripped. Stuffing is awful. Spendless, speedless, seedless. No, nothing is coming to me. Shell ducks. Wow. I'm sure I heard about them years ago, but not recently. So let's see. Gripped. Stuffing is awful. Yeah, I'm not seeing. Oh, I think, yeah, so gripped is held, and that is stuffing sucks for is awful. Okay, so then I think this is aftershock, but how do we get it from 12:15? Dessert wine after, well, maybe it's something more to do with after your dinner from dessert wine. All right, let's reveal it. It is aftershock. I do not understand that one. Afters and hawk, so dessert and wine. That is actually very clever. Very difficult, but it is very clever. Yeah, I have to take my hat off for that one. 14 down now. I did think it might be an anagram of sculpture, but obviously not, because we have an H and an A in there. The sad sculpture beneath which I must go. Is that a reference to the compiler poll? Sculpture, I'm thinking head something. Headspace. No, let's reveal it. Headstone. Oh, wow. So let's see. Is it just a cryptic definition, or is there some wordplay there as well? I think it is. There's certainly an anagram of the sad, and then one is I. Wow. So you sculpt the sad, and then you put one for I underneath it. That is clever too. I do have to admit that. Oh, let's look at this. Slough crossed by rower. If old wizard on bridge playing role. Let's take a look. Omar Sharif. The actor, I do know he was a famous bridge player. Slough crossed by rower. Oh, marsh is in the middle, so that is the slough. And then around that you have ORIF. But yeah, I don't get the old wizard on bridge. I think the bridge, maybe wizard is reference. Did he play a wizard in something? I don't recall him doing so. Dr. Zhivago, of course. No. All right, but I do think I have a name for 25 across. I don't know if I suppose he started as a comic. Mel Brooks. So, backing of scary woman by Parliament. Oh, Parliament is a collective noun for some animal, I can't remember, but the backing of scary woman. I'm looking at it backwards. Backing, or maybe just backing of scary. I'm not even getting that. I mean, spooky and woman. And then Parliament. I am not. If you understand what 25 across and can explain it to me, please do so. Because that, yeah, I do not get. All right, well, a very disappointing showing today. I thought I started all right, but then reached my limit early. And I will say, I think some of these are just that extra level of complexity that because I'm out of, not that I was ever a great cryptic crossword solver, but I've certainly been away from it for a while. And obviously, new techniques and new uh, ways of being cryptic have been introduced that I need to get used to. Anyway, tomorrow is another day. Thanks for watching and have a great day.